Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. And today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the secrets of the White Walkers and their origins. So before I get into the video, I wanted to quickly let you know about some new things that are going down in the gray area. So as you know, Obsidian Nights podcast comes out every Wednesday. So that's going to stay the same. Obsidian Nights every Wednesday. Every Friday morning, you will be getting a video like this one. Lore, theory, Winds of Winter, House of the Dragon, whatever. And every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing a live stream here on my channel called Direwolf City. And Direwolf City is all about Winds of Winter and what is to come. So tonight's stream is all about the White Walkers, what we know, all the theories, and what we can expect from the White Walkers in Winds of Winter, how it will be different from the show, and I will be answering all your questions live on stream. On this channel, I also have new theory videos, lore videos, House of the Dragon stuff, American Horror Story, Witcher. I'm not playing around. Also, if you did not know, now I have a Twitch channel where I stream video games and chat with the Sweet Summer fam. So come through and say hi. Like, we have a good time on Twitch, not gonna lie. Hope to see you tonight for the live stream on YouTube. But all the links for everything will be in my description box. Let's get into the video because, like, that was a lot of announcements. So one of the most frustrating things about season 8 of Game of Thrones was the White Walker storyline. We were shown so many intriguing things when it comes to the White Walkers that really made us be like, oh shit, what is this? Then it was just like, wah, wah, wah. Like, none of our questions were answered. We were kind of left hanging. So in this video, I want to talk about a lot of those things that left us hanging. Like Crasters babies, like what's up with those babies? Like, how was the Night King really created? Was that the real creation of the Night King? If so, who is he? The Night King himself, like, who is the Night King? Like, does he even exist? So let's start with that one. Does the Night King exist in the books? The short answer is no. Actually, he doesn't. There is no character in A Song of Ice and Fire called the Night King. However, there is someone or something that is called the Great Other. The others are the White Walkers. In the books, they're referred to as the others. The leader of the others, in my opinion, is the Great Other. There is also a character from the history and lore of A Song of Ice and Fire named Night's King, who was the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. So the 13th Lord Commander supposedly fell in love with the Night Queen, who was a female other or a female White Walker. And that was another thing. Like, do female White Walkers exist? Because the White Walkers that we all were shown on screen were all men. Sausage party of sausage. And interestingly enough, all of the children of the forest were all female. Like, does this mean anything? Is is this something in the books? Like, what's the fucking tea? So let's talk about it. In the books, we don't know much about the White Walkers as fact. And a lot of what they show us in the show, we don't know if it's book canon. One theory that I believe that is indeed fact that came from the show is that the White Walkers were created by the children of the forest. How they were created is different. Like, their creation has yet to been revealed in the books, but it's hinted to be that the White Walkers were indeed made by the children of the forest. But what I don't believe is that they were made by shoving a dragonglass dagger through like the heart of a man, like on the show. Like, I feel like that is super simplified, super dummified for TV. So it seems like bullshit, like just based on the evidence that we know. I think the White Walker's creation happened at the same time the Hammer of the Waters was used. And let me show you the evidence for that. We are told in the world of Ice and Fire that the children of the forest were at war with the first men, and the children were losing badly. They were outnumbered massively. The children live very long lives, but their numbers are very slim because every song must have its balance. The first men also had more advanced weapons of bronze armor, and they rode horses. The children were driven to desperation, and they did something awful. They used dark magic to help them win the war against men. Finally, driven by desperation, the little people turned to sorcery and beseeched their greenseers to stem the tide of these invaders. And so they did, gathering in their hundreds, some say on the Isle of Faces, and calling on their old gods with song and prayer and grisly sacrifice. 1,000 captive men were fed to the weirwood, one version of the tale goes, whilst another claims the children used the blood of their own young. And the old gods stirred, and giants awoke in the earth, and all of Westeros shook and trembled. Great cracks appeared in the earth and hills, and mountains collapsed and were swallowed up. And then the seas came rushing in, and the arm of Dorne was broken and shattered by the force of the water, until only a few bare rocky islands remained above the waves. Now you might say, well, what the hell does the breaking of the arm of Dorne have to do with the White Walkers? But let me explain. So there are a few clues that this doesn't actually make sense. Why would the children of the forest want to break the arm of Dorne? Like, the histories tell us that they did it because they wanted to stop the first men from coming to Westeros. But the first men were already there. And no, the first men weren't a seafaring people, but ships were a thing to come in the future. And the children of the forest has a race of greenseers who can see into the future. So, like, they would have known that this isn't going to work. So what if I said the breaking of the arm of Dorne was an effect of the magic that they used, not what they were actually using the magic for? I know it might sound wild, and it probably contradicts everything you've ever read, heard, or watched when it comes to the breaking of the arm of Dorne, the Hammer of the Waters, and the White Walkers, but hear me out. So first of all, let's look at the White Walkers themselves as a weapon. A weapon specifically for the children of the forest. This weapon is actually the perfect weapon for the children of the forest, at least at face value. The children of the forest are outnumbered. That's why they're losing. So they create or summon this weapon that turns everyone that dies into a soldier for them. So they take the strength of the first men, which is their numbers, and they use it against them. Every first man that dies is now a number for the children of the forest. It's a perfect weapon. This gives them at least a fighting chance. It's a desperate act, but creating the White Walkers gives them a chance to save their race. The fact that the children of the forest are still around right now in A Dance with Dragons and A Song of Ice and Fire proves that whatever they did helped save their race. But breaking the arm of Dorne, what does that do? That really does nothing. That does nothing but buy them time and prolong the inevitable. It even says this in the text multiple times. Even if we accept that the old gods broke the arm of Dorne with the Hammer of the Waters, as the legends claim, the Greenseers sang their song too late. Now let's look at another quote. Legend says the great floods that broke the land bridge that is now the broken arm and made the neck a swamp were the work of the Greenseers, who gathered at Moat Cailin to work dark magic. Some contest this, however. The first men were already in Westeros when this occurred, and stemming the tide from the east would do little more than slow their progress. That's true. There was nothing useful to come out of the children using the hammers of the waters and breaking the arm of Dorne. It was too late for that, and it would just delay what was inevitable to happen. But the arm of Dorne breaking due to dark magic the children used to create the White Walkers, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. And I'm about to show you just how much sense it makes. We are told two versions of events about the sacrifice that it took to break the arm of Dorne. 1,000 captive men were fed to the weirwood, one version of the tale goes, whilst another claims the children used the blood of their own young. So giving 1,000 captive men to the weirwood is not really a sacrifice. When you sacrifice something, it needs to have meaning to you. Like in the story, for example, the Azor Ahai legend, he can only temper Lightbringer with Nisa's heart because that's a true sacrifice. That's someone that he loves. Stannis sacrificing Shireen, that is a true sacrifice. That is his daughter. That is someone that has meaning to him. Me unaliving 1,000 people I'm at war with and don't give a fuck about anyway is not a true sacrifice. So I definitely believe the second version. I believe it was their own young that the children of the forest used as sacrifices to, air quotes, break the arm of Dorne. But I think it's actually making the White Walkers. And the children sacrificing their babies makes sense for two reasons. The first reason, if you're sacrificing your kids, you're not doing that shit to slow progress or buy time. You're doing that shit to win the war, to save your race. And how'd you win it? with the White Walkers. The perfect weapon to turn men's numbers against them. But here's some real tea. If the White Walkers were awakened by the sacrifice of the children, well then that makes Craster giving his sons to White Walkers a bit more interesting. And I'm going to circle back to that in a minute, but first I want to talk about some of the wording in this quote about the breaking of the arm of Dorne. And the old gods stirred, and giants awoke in the earth, and all of Westeros shook and trembled. Great cracks appeared in the earth, and hills and mountains collapsed. And the old gods stirred, and giants awoke in the earth. Giants awoke in the earth. So this could definitely mean nothing. It could be just a metaphor for an earthquake. But it could mean literal giants. But not the giants you think about. Not the ones. They already existed. They were already here. But there is another kind of giant. As you may know, I'm a huge fan of Norse mythology and Viking lore, and as you also may know, I have talked about the Norse mythology influence and themes in A Song of Ice and Fire. Ragnarok themes, gods, giants. So in Norse myth, or more so in Viking culture, the giants were basically anti-gods. They were the enemies of the gods. But in a nutshell, the giants were basically supernatural beings with superpowers that were basically gods themselves. But check this quote out, and I'll link the essay that this quote came from below, but I just thought it's like so spot on. The very first giant, Ymir, arose from primordial chaos when the worlds of fire and ice came together in a tremendous hissing scream. Coincidence? Song of Ice and Fire? Maybe. But giants are gods, basically. So if we swap giants with gods, then the quote about the breaking of the arm of Dorne would say, and gods awoke in the earth. But are the White Walkers considered gods? Yes, actually, by both Craster and Gilly. He gives the boys to the gods. Come the white cold, he does, and of late it comes more often. That's why he started giving them sheep, even though he has a taste for mutton. Only now the sheep's gone too. Next it'll be the dogs, till she lowered her eyes and stroked her belly. What gods? Jon was remembering that they'd seen no boys in Craster's keep, nor men either, save Craster himself. The cold gods, she said, the ones in the night, the white shadows, and gods awoke in the earth. Awoke. So that would mean that they had to be sleeping for them to awake, right? So do we have any instances of sleeping gods in the earth? Yes, actually. In the World of Ice and Fire, there is a section about the different gods the wildling tribes worship. The countless tribes and clans of the free folk remain worshippers of the old gods of the first men and children of the forest, the gods of the weirwood trees. Some accounts say that there are those who worship different gods, dark gods beneath the ground in the frost fangs, gods of snow and ice on the frozen shore, or crab gods at Starld's Point, but such has never been reliably confirmed. Dark gods beneath the ground in the frost fangs. So there is that bit there, but then there's also this. There is a quote from Sam that appears in the first season of Game of Thrones. It is in the episode titled The Pointy End. Now this quote is nowhere in the books, but this episode was written by none other than George R.R. Martin himself. The author of A Song of Ice and Fire wrote this quote, and here it is.
The White Walkers sleep beneath the ice for thousands of years.
So there's also another reference to the White Walkers sleeping, and it's in the show by Osha book character Asha. They wasn't gone, old man. They were sleeping, and they ain't sleeping no more. Now, George did not write the episode that this quote is featured in, but it was in season 1, You Win or You Die. And season 1 was really faithful to the books, and George was working really closely with the show for the first season. So to me, it seems obvious that there is something more going on with the White Walkers than what meets the eye. So let's go back to the mythology of it all. So pay attention, children, because I'm about to pop off. So remember I said that giants were for the most part gods in Norse myth. And I told you the little ice and fire quote about Ymir. Well, listen to this parallel. So Ymir was actually the first frost giant. Like, he had kids and shit sprout from his armpits while he slept and shit. I believe Odin, like, is one of his kids. But when they killed Ymir, his wounds poured blood across the northern side of the realm, and all the frost giants drowned in it. So I feel like Martin is doing a twist on the legend of Ymir, and he's doing it with the Hammer of the Waters and the White Walkers. He doesn't incorporate mythology one-to-one, but he adds these fragments of folklore and myth all through the story, and Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, author Tad Williams, does something very similar, which why these book series are very similar. I mean, Memory, Sorrow, Thorn, amazing books, can't recommend them enough. But in my opinion, the text shows that the White Walkers were a perfect weapon for the children. They were sleeping beneath the earth, and the children woke them up with the sacrifice of their young, and whatever dark magic they used to do it sent a shockwave through Westeros that destroyed the Arm of Dorne and flooded shit. The sacrifice of babies, the sacrifice of babies of the children of the forest is likely what gave the White Walkers their powers. So to keep the powers, they have need of more sacrifices of children. And this is where Craster comes in. Craster gives them male children. Now, does he give them the male children because that's what they want? Or does he give them the male children for selfish reasons, like not sharing his women with his sons when they're older because them Crasters are nasty like that? Or is he giving them his sons because in Westeros, a son is more valuable than a daughter. Therefore, a son would be a greater sacrifice. Either way, we don't know what they do with the babies. In the show, they do this whole scene of the Night King touching the baby and the baby's eyes turning blue, but that never happens in the books. We just know that Craster gives his sons to the cold gods. Like, do they eat the babies? Do they use the babies for power? Do they sacrifice the babies themselves to gain more power or to make more of themselves? Because we don't see any women White Walkers. I'm not sure. And the fact that we don't see any women White Walkers may not be even a thing. Like, it seems like there are female White Walkers because we had the legend of Night's Queen, which points to there being at least a female White Walker. We also have Bran in the very first chapter of A Game of Thrones, Bran 1, recounting a story about wildling women laying with the others during the long night to sire half-human children. I honestly think that it's impossible to get dicked down by a White Walker if you're human because, like, it's so cold when they come around you that you can't even breathe. So what I find more likely is that people were giving their children to the White Walkers, much like Craster does. And so the answer to what they do with those sacrificial babies is they sire half-human White Walkers. If they were made by baby sacrifice, then they can make more by baby sacrifice. But what do you think? I will be following this video up via live stream tonight on my channel. We will be discussing the origins, the baby sacrificing, but most importantly, what's to come with the White Walkers in Winds of Winter. I hope to see you there, and I hope you have your questions ready. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.